Shalom, family. Glory be to God, and blessed be the Lamb forever. You know, everything is spiritual. Everything. Let me repeat that because it bears repeating. Every move, every word, every possible scenario, every possible outcome, every possible argument, every possible thought. It's all spiritual, which I referred to as the Borg. So from that position, and I won't go back into um, what the Borg is too much. But the Borg was a spiritual entity, space alien style. Okay, space alien style. The Borg would invade a planet not by using bullets and bombs. No, they were alien spirits, and they would come into that planet and they would turn everybody. And then it was known that it must have leadership. See, because in the centralization there was structure. Something had to build structure into the board. At any rate, I'm relating the board to the spiritual takeover of the world. The Borg is not an entity that you make war with. The Borg is an entity that you avoid. In your case, there was them. And now they use them to talk to you, usually in the form of making threats or as they busy in the background in infecting others. This is the nature of your enemy. So from my perspective, if you will understand, from my perspective, from the position that I currently find myself, then I must work this into the considerations and the understandings of all actions and all words, all deeds, period. This is how it is when you're me. Years ago, period. Anywhere upon this planet, only a handful escaped. Only, only a handful escaped the invasion of the Borg spirits. In 2000, I want to say 15, man, there was so much happening in 2015. Goodness gracious. That was a busy year, busy and frightening and violent for everybody involved. It was truly cat versus mouse. And if you, in fact, they're more the disparate than you would think. One may think this, one may think that, one may stand for this, one may stand for that. But at the end of the day, the majority of them are bad. The majority of them are bad. It's seemingly they want you hated. They want you hated. And it would have worked if it was you who were in control of your own actions. But most has never seen it. But anything warm blooded, birds, dogs, cats, wolves, anything that has, as the devil would say, his definition of life is he's a gritty little bastard. He got mad at me one day and he said to me about you and your idea of life. He was upset when he said this. He said, listen, life is nothing more than a heartbeat. That's why in 2017, everybody around me started talking about image. And just out of nowhere, I got to work on my image. I got to watch my image. Here's another one. I'm living my best life. What the hell did that dude just say? He's living his best life. Nigga, how many lives have you lived? And what were the options? What did you just say? Well, that is in the spiritual world, knowing that so many of you are infected that they can get away. Architect, he may have been an astronaut. He may have been your local police officer. The point I'm trying to make is he's none of that shit anymore. He's none of that anymore. That's over. It's done. I haven't seen anyone fight their way out of it. And the infection rate hovers at what has to be around 80%. That ain't bad shooting. That's not bad shooting on a invasive style military. You need thousands of priests and other types of clergy and trained in the removal of spirits. And they should be dispatched from house to house, house to house. See, sometimes, well, it's too late for you. Listen, real talk. In my family, there was a man who knew some other men, and they went around Texas and Louisiana, and maybe even Alabama. Guess what they did? They at least two that you would think of as spirits. You would think of them both as spirits. Maybe even me too. Listen, there's a this make this easy. There are the kind that leave footprints in your lush carpet and footprints on your dusty floors and footprints in the dirt and the sand. And you can't figure it out. Then there are the kind that leave no footprint at all. These are two different classes of spirits. One have more battlefield is earth everywhere. Everywhere. The battlefield is earth. And the battle begins inside your mind. You're not gonna escape this one. For most of you, it is too late. But here's where we come in. We listen. Even the spirits have a tale to tell. The spirits speak. See, I'm going to tell you a secret. Even the devil would not want a reason. For a reason. In hell, you believe that the worst thing it is the fire, which is much more than fire. I keep saying there are things that I can't or won't speak of. It will surely cause nightmares. Period. It wouldn't be fair. Not to you. But trust me, there's much more than fire than fire. It ain't with fire at any rate. Everything is spiritual. Everything. That's why I can't always blame man or his daughters. You hear me use that term all the time. You hardly ever hear me use man wife. No, it's man and his damn daughters. If he can't control his goddamn daughters, he already screwed. His daughter becomes listen, this is tell you a secret. Another woman, if you live in fucking America, they will run through some women around here. None of mine are foul. None of mine are foul. I'm just a watcher. Actually, I shouldn't even have an opinion on it. Okay. So when you look at it, there is no real reason to not be real with you in at any given moment. The problem, and see, here's what the spirits came and said. Seriously, seriously, not so much now. We on some different shit. We all have to go home one day. We on some different shit now. Shit got real. But the spirits came to me in the middle of war. There was a time that if I could sense spirits around me, it was automatic warfare. It was, I mean, it was just automatic, but that's not my fault. It's their fault because they are invasive. They're invasive. Good. But then one day they came to me. When I say the they, I don't know how damn many, but I'm always say the they because you're dealing with a hive mentality. What one think, all of them think. There are nuances. In fact, there are fractures. But overall, what one thinks, all of them think. They have a hive mentality in their thoughts, analysis, logics, and their conclusions. They are all in agreement with each other. It's sort of like us, but we're only seven. There's millions of these SOBs, and they're everywhere. They've been everywhere since too spiritually. Spiritually. So you're lost, man. And so did your woman. You both lost. Ergo, your children, you're lost. You're lost, you're lost, you're lost, and you didn't so much as fire a shot. But but other species met the same fate, met the exact same fate. But you didn't have the options of hopping spaceships and say, damn this here, and let them have it. They don't want it if you're not in it. I mean, the planet has no value if you're not there in it. On the wall, which we don't recommend because my organization and I, we bang, we bang back. So don't be knocking on walls because we'll simply knock back. At any rate, this is what they have done to man. And if we had not caught it, and we did, if we had not caught it, then you would already be in a different place if we could blame this all on them. Lucky for you that we caught it. And cartoon Charlie Brown. You know that damn character Pigpen that never bathed? That's not the point. They may or may not bathe. But every step that he took, dust flew off of him. That's how thick the spirits were around and in them. Okay? Okay. Let me put this to you a different way. Imagine a heifer walking past you draped in a mysterious fog that's all around her in motion. And you can feel this. And only at a certain, you have to be, listen, you can't just work your way up a spiritual level like they tell you. Some shit has to be built in. That's why I can see them and you can't. Because the shit that's needed for me to see them comes built in. It is within me. Okay, I didn't have to move up some ranks. No, it is within me, and they know it, and they're there. But they said after many battles, many with, I mean, shouldn't you have come in swinging and trying to invade my body? Yeah, we thought about that shit, but we did it a few hundred thousand times now. And it's never really worked. We were actually just trying to annoy your ass to death. But at any rate, we have a right to exist. And I said, Let me think about that one. That that was novel, something new. You actually speak. We have a right to exist. So it would take me a week and a half, a couple of weeks to finally come to the conclusion that you're who they lived with in their lives, be it their parents or friends or wives or husbands, what how they were raised, they had been lied to. And if it had not been for those lies, then they wouldn't be in the hock like they were, meaning that you are no longer hiding, and we know exactly where you are. The minute that you fucked up and attacked me, you gave up your location. That's how this shit works. Spiritually, you gave up your location. It's not too far. At any rate, they said that we've been. They began to say we have a right to exist, and they lied to us. It would morph into, not all, man, listen, we just want to have our chance at being judged. We don't want to be just thrown into the gates of hell here. They lied to us. Right there, I started seeing two things: rats jumping the ship and potential allies. I seen it right then and there. And we left that there. Government building, especially government buildings, they are full of them. But high traffic areas, the these high transaction points, high transaction, okay? The frequencies that you hear are or you may not hear. I'm running out of time here and I'm moving a little fast. All has something to do with what's going on. Oh, oh, okay. Your bodies are being used like rapid transit. I don't know why the spiritual authorities get up that you hear or don't hear. These are meant to stimulate or activate. You can hear it. Some of you can hear it, okay? Sometimes it's a low hum, sometimes it's a high frequency pitch. All of this is done in an effort to control you. Likewise, especially in your poor neighborhoods, flashing lights everywhere. I mean, whenever you out in 2010, at least 2010, I didn't know, or I didn't have the understanding of it that I do now. But I've been hearing it and not hearing it that long. And at its height was again 2015 and 2016. Okay? What I'm trying to say is you're under you are more than under threat. You have been invaded spiritually. Spiritually. Now understand, once one spirit has, you would hear some of the strangest shit said, but you have to have the understanding that they're talking as who they really are because there's no one else there with them. But they often forget that I live right on the other side of a wall here. And they would say strange things like, I'm supposed to be the mother. You're supposed to be the son. Do you see what they're discussing? How they're acting, role playing. Are you getting it now? It is real. It is real. More than you would hang them like Adam Frisbee. But while I'm watching all of this, I'm a horror movie fan, right? I'm not angry. I'm just taking it all in. And they are expressing their self to an extreme degree. Lucky for them, I don't value any of this shit. That's why they breaking me. Because they thought I valued it. And I'm like, nigga, At the end of the day, I'm just gonna go and buy me another one, right? But go ahead. So shit's flying off the wall and shit. And then I remember my own sauce. No, the up. I just like to flesh things out until I get tired of subtopicing that topic, and then I subtopic that subtopic. I don't care what you think. At any rate, the other ones that leave footprints in your carpet. One night, I was after something. I was after, how can I put this? I was trying to go somewhere. And the only way I could get there is to literally get so close, very slow. I'm right next to death. I scared the folks around me. Okay. But I had to do this here. I had to do it. And it was in this state that I bumped into the ones who make the footprints in the carpet. These are not spirits, these are demons, not spirits. And by the way, all of your cities are controlled by one demon per city, one demon per city, sometimes two. Just thought, thought that I would toss that in there. They and real bad, and you won't even notice. It'll just be too late, and it is too late. Which brings me to my next point. All of you who don't believe, there ain't nobody left. I am convinced there's nobody upon this planet that don't believe in God. They may not have faith in God, or they may have disagreements, or don't love God, but they believe. They do believe. Nothing. So where are we now? In the midst of a battle. You do see how it is a battle now, right? Even the spirits, at least half of them agree, because they did not agree to any of this shit. And that part was driven home to me. I was in the midst of some of this spiritual warfare one night, and it was heavy. I'm talking about the day of the coming in, and I'm kicking ass and taking names. I mean, from 10:30 that night until this incident that happened about 2:30 in the morning. They come on in, and then I would consume them. I would trap them, and I won't let them go. I could feel them running around, running their ass around, and on the inside of my body, while the other me's are just watching the bastard. Sometimes I would consume them. Sometimes I would cast them. Sometimes, anyway, in the midst of all of this, something strange happened. And I'm going to wrap this up about here. That changed everything for me. My understanding was challenged, but that's all I felt. I didn't feel the weight of the spirit. I didn't feel the attempted spread of it. Um, and me and the demon, we busy talking. I mean, man, the shit's real. I mean, at any rate, when it happened, I said, "What was that?" And the demon said, "This one died when she was only 9 years old. 9 years old." And all I could feel thought, what is she doing there? This one had no malice, had no intent. In fact, it was so soft and warm, I had decided she can stay. And I said, this can ride. This one can ride. I said it just like that. And then shortly after that, I said, man, I'm done for the night. I'm going to go to sleep. And that's what I did. So what I'm trying to say is it it has made me see things from multiple realms. I mean, over all things that good people would consider sinful. But consider, is it the person or is it that which dwells inside? This is why Jesus tells you to hate the sin and not the sinner. You get it now? You would get it. But that doesn't mean that you should not be vigilant and that you should not be ready to put in some work if need be. Always be ready for that. Always be ready. Them. A kick as you're falling asleep. That's them. That is them. Okay? At any rate, I wish I could have given you all of this advice earlier, but I arrived sort of in the midst of it, and I came in butt naked. I didn't have my combat boots on or no shoes, hadn't ate, I still had sleep. I came in butt naked under fire. I had to get my bearings. I had to get my building strange ass temples and killing cows and not eating them. Weird ass prayers and seances and Ouija boards, witchcraft and what? Man, it's just an overall. Let's just say this here. The place is foobar. It's foobar. Those of you who don't know what foobar means, it's fucked up beyond all repair. So it must be broken. Some things are so malfunctioning that there's no fixing it. But but you have to go. You can't tread water forever, or else you will drown with them. You show them mercy, extend a hand, and you head on in to shore when they don't reach back. You shouldn't spend a lot of time there with begging them to take your hand. There are sharks in that water. There's all kinds of threats in that water. You man, go back to shore. With that, enjoy the rest of your Labor Day. I am Source. I have 7.